listening to Lucky Hawk Talks, the show where Lucky Hawk talks. Now here's your host, Lucky Hawk.
Hello and welcome to another classic edition of Lucky Hawk Talks. I'm your host, Lucky Hawk, and today's episode comes from August of 2014. With me on today's show is the legendary martial artist, actor, stuntman, Robin Shou. You may have seen him in 1995's Mortal Kombat, as well as the sequel Mortal Kombat Annihilation. My favorite film of his was the 1997 Chris Farley vehicle Beverly Hills Ninja, which is also supposedly Christian Bale's favorite film. Now, whether or not Christian Bale is lying, I don't know, but he said it, so that's good enough for me. Now, a little warning about this episode, the audio is not the best. I don't want to blame Robin, but I'm going to blame Robin. I tried to clean it up the best I could, so I don't know, you might want to hear this one on speakers, maybe not your headphones, but anyway, listen up, learn something, here it comes. How did you first get into martial arts?
How did I first got into martial arts? I mean, this sounds really stupid, but it was I was dating this girl who was into martial arts, and I've always wanted to learn martial arts, and then so she already started, so I went to her school, and I saw what she was doing, and, you know, there were a lot of guys, and she was the only girl, so I think I did it out of jealousy, so, and then that's how I got started. I know that's not a good story, but that's a true story. I was 17 years old, so, and that's it. I mean, or if you want a better story, I saw Jet Li Shaolin Temple and got inspired, and you know, and I wanted to know more about the Chinese martial arts.
Mm-hmm. How did you first get into acting?
I was vacationing in Hong Kong, and I studied civil engineering, and I've been working for a year and a half. I hated my job, so I quit and went to Hong Kong for sort of vacation, or, you know, to look for myself, because I didn't know what I was doing. You know, just, you know, in the school, I'm 25, I think, back then, and, you know, I know I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what. But I know for sure I didn't want to be an engineer. I didn't want to work for a living. I wanted to do something else. So I went to Hong Kong and then met some people, and they were in the movie business, and they asked me if I want to do a film. I said, sure, and then because of my martial arts background, I was able to do pretty much everything and stunt work. So they were really impressed, and they asked me if I want to stay in Hong Kong and do another film for them. I said, sure. So then all of a sudden I got sort of this sort of notoriety of this like American Chinese guy who came to Hong Kong. He's good in martial arts. He can do his own stuff, and he's 6 feet tall. So words got around, and people start hiring me. So that's basically how I started. It was one after another movie. I was in Hong Kong for 9 years, and I did about 30-some movies, I think. And that's how I got started. I was on a vacation to Hong Kong to find myself, and then I got into and I stumbled into the business.
You starred as the lead Liu Kang in 95's Mortal Kombat, which is seen as the first successful film based on a video game. What was your time like on that project?
My time? Oh, it was fantastic, because, you know, coming from Hong Kong, I mean, in Hong Kong, I'm sure you've heard of stories from Jackie Chan or Sammo Hung or Jet Li. Like, you know, we have nothing there. There was no trailer, no service at all. You have to bring your own chair a lot of times. So now I am in this big Hollywood movie where I have my own trailer. People ask me if I want coffee, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then all I have to do is just act. You know, it sounds really ridiculous, ludicrous, you know what I mean? So it was like a fantasy coming true. So it was fantastic. I was living life. So, and also I get to act. People gave me time to act. People appreciated my actions, my performances. It was a really, really good time, and I thought, boy, this is Hollywood, and I'm not going back to Hong Kong. So so it was really all a great experience in Mortal Kombat.
Had you played the game before your role?
You know, I did not play the game. In fact, I had no idea. Well, no, I take that back. I don't know if you know the guy Ho Sun Park who played a character in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, I went to China to study Wushu with his brother, his older brother, and then Ho Young. And then Ho Sung would come down to LA with Ho Young because Ho Sung back then was probably like 15 or 16, and he wanted to do martial arts. So I knew the brothers. But anyway, I was working in Hong Kong, doing all my Hong Kong movies, and then all of a sudden I bumped into Ho Sung. And I said, "What are you doing here?" I said, "Well, I'm doing a Jackie Chan movie, and then I got to go back to the States because I'm doing this video game called Mortal Kombat." And then we use live people, we take, they take skills of our martial arts move, and then, and they put them on the game. It's us. And of course I said, that's stupid. So anyway, like a few years later, I went back home and was on a vacation, and my friend agent said they're doing this casting called Mortal Kombat. And I said, I don't know what that is. And then I asked my roommate. My roommate said, it's the biggest game, in the world. So he exaggerated, but you should go out for it. And I said, all right. So I went out to audition for the part. And after 7 auditions, that is with producers, directors, executive producers, casting, after 7 readings, finally gave me the part. So before that, I had zero idea of what Mortal Kombat is. No, I did not. So maybe that's why I got the part, because I went in without any knowledge of the game. I went in and read for the character, with no expectation, no background of what the game's like, what the character's like. So I guess they like that. I walked in, I am who I am. So that's pretty much how the can is, I suppose. So.
You also starred in 1997's Beverly Hills Ninja.
Correct, yeah.
With the great Chris Farley. What was your experience like with that?
Oh, he's wonderful. Believe it or not, I came back here in the States, and I just wanted to do something because finally I have a chance to be in Hollywood movies, so I was really selective. I didn't want to somehow sort of show any negative stereotype with Asian American or Chinese actors or Chinese people or Asian people in America, because I grew up in the States and went through the elementary school, high school, and of course we have a lot of prejudice and discriminations with minorities, people. So now that I have a chance to somehow be in front of the camera and then make a difference, I feel. So I was really against any negative stereotype, whatsoever to Asian people. So when they said they wanted Beverly Hills Ninja, the director and producer wanted to meet me because this movie with Chris Farley is called Beverly Hills Ninjas, and Chris Farley's the star. And honestly, that was probably 2 years after I came back, or a year and a half after I came back from Hong Kong. And I have not watched any of Chris Farley's Saturday Night Live sketches. Nothing. I don't know who he was. Honestly, I had no idea. So then I turned the movie down 2 times. And then the 3rd time, my agent said, "Gotta meet with them. It's not what you think." So I said, "Okay, I'll meet with Chris Farley, the actor, because I want to see what he's like." Beverly Hills Ninja title sounds really they're poking fun of Beverly Hills Ninja. They're poking fun of Ninja, and I'm a big fan of Ninja. So I met with Chris Farley, and he is so genuine. He is as adorable in real life as on screen. The thing is, when we talked about the script, he really thinks that he is the great white ninja. By accident, of course. So then, seeing him so honest and so genuine, I go, this could be a fun movie because he's not really mocking Asian people or the ninja clan or anything like that, or martial arts. He really believes he's the great white ninja. He's a white ninja, and he's not so good at martial arts, but then he tried, and then you can't knock a guy for a try. So after meeting Chris Farley, and I just kind of, fell in love with the guy. He's just so amazing and so kind, so funny. And then I go, Chris, I don't know. This is my first comedy movie, so maybe you can tell me what I need to do. I could teach you martial arts and action stuff, but you have to teach me how to be funny. And then he said, Robin, you don't need to be funny. Just be honest. And I will take that with me, to the grave. Just that, all you need to be is honest. And so I learned a lot from Chris, and we got along so well. We tried to get together after the movie, and it's just that he got busy, went back to Chicago, and so we kind of stayed in touch through phone call and emails, but then never really had a chance to get together before he passed. But he is such an amazing guy. It's really tragic and a shame what happened, but it's a great loss. Mm-hmm. But I love the guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think everybody that knows his work, loves the guy. He just has that kind of effect on people.
Right. It's just that, because, I'm sure that comedian has a dark side. And whatever his demon, we don't know. So we can't really judge him too much for what happened. Mm-hmm. It's a sad loss, because we had actually planned on Beverly Hills movie too. So because it was successful, we had such a blast on the movie. It's funny, it's a family film, so we had plans, it's just that, what happened to Chris. But, I think of him like still, because whenever I try too hard in acting, I just remember what he tells me, just to be honest. You don't need to try anything. You don't need to force anything. Just be honest, and you will be authentic.
Mm-hmm. In 2003, you directed, wrote, and produced your own film, Red Trousers.
Right.
What inspired you to start filmmaking?
My craft was Hong Kong cinema, and I learned my craft back in the 80s, where like the Hong Kong action film was like the biggest in the world. Jackie Chan with his Project A and Police Stories, Sammo Hung, so we were like the top action film industry in the world. Amazing stunt. You see guys jumping off bridge and landing on cars, one shot deal. So when I did Mortal Kombat, I remember now, after we finished the film, New Line didn't like the movie. But they did say, why is Robin Shou's action scene look so much better? The whole film should look like that. And then I go, well, because I do all of my choreography, and I know fighting is not just fighting. You got to be cinematic. You can't just fight. You can't be realistic. It has to be cinematic because it's moving. So we did a reshoot of the scorpion fight and the reptile fight, where I was the choreographer. And of course, when I was choreographing the fight, I remember the producer saying, Robin, you gotta be really safe because, I know you come from Hong Kong and I know you do stunt work, but, we gotta be safe here, okay? You can't be like, Hong Kong cinema. I said, what are you talking about? The reason you hired me was because you like Hong Kong cinema. Yeah, but we can't risk anybody getting hurt. I said, well, nobody's gonna get hurt. Nobody's gonna get hurt taking a few punches and a few balls, and, and then said, yeah, but you just can't do what you do in Hong Kong. And then so the way he put it was that, no, we're just some kamikaze guys, with no brain, and just kind of, okay, we're going to jump out the window and we're going to do it, without any consideration of safety. And I just thought that was the impression of American or cinema towards the Hong Kong cinema, because they think the people in Hong Kong are just probably like worthless. They don't worth anything. Their life is worthless, so that's why they're going all out for the art. for the stunt. And my purpose for the film was that, no, that's not the case. These guys are professional. They know what they're doing. Of course there's risk. Why do you think they call themselves stuntman? Of course there's risk. If there's no risk, then there wouldn't be stuntman. So that was my point of the film, to show that these guys know exactly what they're doing. Nothing is blind, nothing is, nothing that is not calculated. To every fall, every punch take, just everything is calculated. And so, and I want to always, because I have that background, and I always want to sort of show the American audience that, we're not Kombat guys, we're amazing stuntmen, and our attitude, never say no attitude is there, So that's why I did the film, just to sort of enlighten the American audience that the stunt work are not the stunt work you see on today, where kids just jumping off the roof and breaking their neck. Everything is, it's sad to see that, but in Hong Kong, everything is calculated, everything is rehearsed. These guys know exactly what they're doing, and they know the risk, but it's worth taking because this is their job.
Yeah. You mentioned doing your own stunts. What would you say has been your scariest stunt?
I would say, when I first started, I was lucky because, I got into acting. People, because I was tall, they always wanted me to play bodyguards and then fight. So my sort of acting role was getting bigger and bigger, and then slowly moved on to supporting and then leading. But my first stunt, my first movie in Hong Kong, it's called City Heat with Chu Huck. And I played a KGB assassin, and then I was in the hospital, about to kill somebody, and I killed this person, and I was making an escape, and of course cops were chasing me. So I moved into this elevator. We had this huge gun battle in this elevator shaft, and so I had to jump from one elevator to the next. Of course, that's the elevator in the middle is on the first floor. We were on the 14th floor, so I had to jump from the first elevator to the third elevator, and then there's a maybe 8-9 feet span, because the second elevator was on the first floor and we were on the 14th floor. So I just have to jump across that and then hold on to the beam, one of the supports in the shaft, dangle there for a second, and then climb on the top of the third elevator. So the stunt coordinator asked me if I could do that. Now, that was my first movie in Hong Kong. I have never done any stunt work. They asked me if I could take punch, roll off stairs. I said, yeah, those are easy. Anyway, well, that is a stunt. So he asked me if I could do it. I said, yeah, I think so. It's only 8 feet. It's not that far. I'm 6 feet. So if I leap, that's only 2 more feet. I can hold on to that thing. So anyway, so they call action. I did it. I jumped. I hung on to the support beam, dangled for a second. I climbed back on. And then I think I did it twice. And then everything was cool. The coordinators, and that's how I got my second movie. So the coordinator was like, man, that was pretty good. I said, yeah, fine. And then I took off my shirt, and I see my entire right side because I held on to the supporting beam with my right arm. I kind of flipped it around the supporting beam for my dear life. And then my entire right side was bruised. And I didn't realize it because I didn't pat myself. I didn't know that I was supposed to pat myself. That was pretty scary because, I was like, if anything happened, and actually, when I was doing the stunt, it wasn't that scary. It's after the fact because, after you're thinking about it, boy, I could miss the beam or I could slip and I could fall and die. I didn't think about it at the time, but afterwards, so I got scared afterwards, not during. So that was sort of my scary. And other things, I never really got into any dangerous stunts because I was, a flip, falling off the table, getting tripped, those are ratchet pull. Those are easy stuff. Never life-threatening stunts. So I was pretty lucky. but I didn't have to do any of those because my part was acting. So every time a producer called me for a job, it's usually for acting or acting with some fighting in it, and that was it. So I got pretty lucky. But that was my scariest. I mean, again, it's after the fact, not while I was doing it. And then that mentality to all stuntmen is that, you know, they go in and do the job. They're professional. And then they might talk about it afterward, and they might get scared afterward, not at the moment.
What current projects are you working on that you'd like to share?
Right now, I'm developing a short film called Earthbound. It's about the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami that struck Southeast Asia. It's a fantasy sort of supernatural. It's about second chance, and it's really, really close to me. You know, it's just, not that I had anyone died during the tsunami, the 2004 tsunami, but it's just sad because I have a 1-year-old son, and just thinking about him, getting hurt, and not able to do anything about it, I mean, it just kills me. So I put myself in the people who lost their life. Just that, you know, I mean, what will I do if I witness my family, my son, anyone who suffers such tragedy? I cannot bear it, you know. So then I thought, since this year is their 10th-year anniversary, I want to produce a short film and bring more awareness and hopefully do some kind of charity event to raise money for the victims.
Definitely. Well, let us know, and you know, we can promote it for you too.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And originally, I was doing a fundraiser on Kickstarter. I canceled it, and we were actually going really strong. You know, I mean, in our first 6 days, we had like $7,000 already, and my goal was $25,000. And I canceled it because I thought the approach was wrong. Because a lot of the contributor or donors were like friends of mine or fans of mine or people who knows me. I felt wrong asking them for money because, I mean, of course, they would love to help me, but it's just that I did not want to put anyone in a position that they feel obligated to help me to make my movie. I would rather have them love the project, have compassion for what I do, and then help out. So I think the approach was wrong through Kickstarter, so I canceled it. And everyone was really shocked. Robin, why'd you cancel it? It was going well. I said, yeah, but I don't feel good. You know, people, you know, write to me saying they want to help, or, you know, I mean, they're like, yeah, I just didn't feel right, so I canceled the program. So now I'm still going ahead, shoot the movie in August, but the proper way, you know, like find money where the money comes from people who knows the business, who understand the risk, or understand me, what I want to do, and they want to support me, and not by. I mean, they can watch the movie after I finish and donate to my charity afterward. I would rather have that.
Yeah, definitely.
Than donating for me to make my movie. That's kind of selfish, you know. So that's why I didn't feel right.
That's understandable. I have one last question for you. If you could give one piece of advice for anybody wanting to get into martial arts or acting, what would it be?
If you want to get into martial arts, I mean, fantastic, because I think it's a fantastic discipline, and it teaches you a lot of value and self-respect and respect others. And it doesn't matter what kind of martial art, you know, I mean, any kind of martial art, because you go into a school and you pay respect to the teachers, you pay respect to your peers, you know, fellow students, so that you go into a place where you develop this sort of habit or discipline, and then you can apply that, I mean, without knowing, unconsciously. Everywhere you go, you will have that same discipline at work, at your family. So I strongly encourage people to do martial arts. And if you want to be acting, if you want to get into acting, remember, ask yourself, what do you have to offer? You know, I mean, any what do you have to offer? Special. Are you special enough that you have something to offer, or you have a story to tell? So you ask them. Don't do it for like, oh, I saw, this person on TV, and he sings, and I can sing better than him, or I can act better than him, I can cry better than him, I can jump higher. That's the wrong reason for doing it. Is that, do you have a story to tell? Is there something, is your blood run with the desire to do what you want to do instead of the fame? And the popularity, or want to prove a point. I think those are all wrong reasons to get into acting. Because you need that drive, and without that sort of drive, that passion, you won't get very far. So I think that's why there's a lot of people who tried the business and never made it, because they didn't have that drive. They didn't have that passion to drive them. Because everything they want is very superficial, and then fame and money and all that stuff will die, will go. But your passion will always be there. So I guess, that's my advice. Ask yourself what you have to offer and what is your passion. And your passion have that drive to push yourself, to go the extra mile, to be alone, working at home, or to write your story, or to study acting. Do you have that drive? And then if you can't, then that's not for you.
There it is, folks. Robin Shou. Robin is still out making movies. He's teaching martial arts. He's teaching stunt work. I'd say you could keep up with him at his website, robinshou.com, but I'm not sure he checks it. It looks a little out of date, but it is still worth checking out, because it's kind of got like a vaporwave kind of deal going on. But anyway, if you like this interview and you want to hear more from me, please let me know in the comments. Please like this video, please subscribe to my channel, and if you would like access to all of my interviews in print format, visit my authors page at amazon.com/authors/luckyhawk. It's free if you have Kindle Unlimited. If not, each edition is only 99 cents. It's a good deal. You can't pass it up. Anyhow, this is Lucky Hawk. I'm out, and until next time, take care.